want to talk with you about the reality behind the what I eat in a day videos, because I see that they're trending. I see that they're super popular on like TikTok and Instagram, and a lot of people really love these videos. And it seems like this thing that people that aren't even in the fitness industry, like just influencers, are doing regularly now to share what they eat in a day because it's a popular thing that people are looking at. And I see it being used for the wrong reasons and not actually being super helpful for people who really want to know how they can start to eat healthier. And instead, it's like enforcing this idea that someone else, like you have to do what someone else is doing in order to most likely look like them rather than, feel good. I know that most of the people who create these videos probably have good intentions, but again, I think it reinforces this idea that, we see our influencer looking a certain way and then she shares what she eats in a day so that we think that we should be eating how she's eating so that we can look like her. And in the reality of things, like, we're not gonna look like someone else. We all are very different. So just because you eat like someone else, just because you work out like them, does not mean that you are going to look like them and have the same physique as them. And it's also not taking into consideration your goals, your needs, what you enjoy for food. I understand that these videos can sometimes give people ideas of like, oh, that's a great snack idea, or I didn't think of making a lunch like this. But a lot of times too, the people who are making these videos, again, like I said, they're not even in the health and wellness space. Like, that's not even what they do for a profession. So the types of foods that they're recommending are actually not even necessarily healthy. And I can make a whole nother video on really understanding what food out there on the market is actually healthy and what is not, because a lot of the food companies are really great at marketing and making their food seem like it's healthy when in reality it's not. Obviously, your goals are taken into consideration when you decide what you're going to be putting into your body, but I just don't love the idea that there are people out there who are not even, they're not even qualified to be educating on nutrition, and they're sharing videos of what they're eating in a day, which again, it's great and it can be super helpful for someone to just get ideas of how they want to eat their food. But for someone who is looking at these videos and taking it as the end all be all of, oh my gosh, this person eats this way, I need to start eating this way because it's healthy, is not good. Because again, some of these people don't even have the education and knowledge to be sharing exactly, about nutrition. And I don't know if that's their intention when they do share it. A lot of the times I think people share those videos because they're trending and they want to get more followers and more views on their video, and they don't necessarily care about what they're sharing in their content. So what I'm going to share with you as a health coach is just some general rules that you can start to implement in your day-to-day as you are trying to make healthier eating choices. If you're new to my page, I'm Savannah. I'm a health and body image coach, and I help women get unstuck in their health journey through mindset training to find more body confidence. The first thing that you need to know is you need to know what your own goals are and what's most important to you. And I'm not just talking about the physical goals, the weight loss goals. I'm talking about how you want to feel on a regular basis, how you want your life to look and feel like, the next year from now, the next 5 years from now, and so on, and figure out what foods are going to help you get there. Are you someone who enjoys going out to eat and spending time with people and celebrating? Because if that's important to you, then you need to find a way that you can do that in a way that's healthy, but it's also, not restricting yourself, and that you have that freedom. Food is not just something that we eat to fuel ourselves, it's also meant to be enjoyed. So there needs to be this balance, and you need to be really in touch with yourself to understand, what you are okay with eating, what you're not okay with eating, how often you want to eat something, really understand that for yourself, because no one else is the same as you, and no one else has the same exact goals as you, the same lifestyle as you. So you want to make sure that you are super clear on that before you even decide how you want to eat on a day-to-day basis, how you want to take my tips and education and information or anyone else's. Because when you can know that for yourself, you can take the videos of the what I eat in a day and make them work for you, and not feel like you have to adopt what that person's doing, or take what they're doing and basically call it healthy. Like, you have that education and that knowledge of yourself to where you can take someone else's information and decide whether or not it's a fit for you, or if it's not going to work for you. Next thing that you should really understand is that you want to have a basic understanding of the nutritional guidelines that are out there just for you to understand, what your body really needs on a day-to-day basis to be fully nourished and have all of the foods that it needs to really be fueled properly and for you to feel your best. So you can easily Google this, like nutritional guidelines. It'll actually give you information on, your body size, like how much you should be eating every single day, so that you can get an idea of your particular body, like what it needs for fuel, and then determine again, like, okay, I know what my body needs now, like on a scientific level. So using all of that information, the food that I need plus my goals and the lifestyle that I want to have, then I can start to make choices and, start to shop for groceries in a way that is aligned with that, so that you're always choosing eating choices that are aligned with you and are in touch with what you want, rather than the mistake I see a lot of people make is they always jump on these diets, or they try to eat a certain way or eat how someone else is eating, and it just is never sustainable because they are so out of touch with themselves and their needs and what they want. So trying to jump into someone else's way of doing things and they don't even know what works for them, it's not sustainable, and a lot of times they end up quitting or falling off track is what I hear people say a lot. And all this does is make people feel like they can't be healthy, like they constantly fail at being healthy. So this really isn't, encouraging for people who have tried multiple ways to lose weight or have tried multiple ways to be healthier, and over again they keep doing what other people are telling them to do rather than really listening to themselves, learning more about nutrition itself on a generalized basis to really understand things and then make it work for them, and really create that customized plan essentially for themselves. Whereas a lot of people just don't even take the time to do all of that. They're constantly confused, they're constantly overwhelmed, they're constantly frustrated because they're not taking the time to really understand themselves first and get clear on their own needs, and instead they're just jumping from diet to diet to diet to try and lose weight, to try and change their body, make their body look a certain way, rather than utilize food how it's really meant to be. The last thing that I want to share when you are trying to decide what you should start eating in a certain day is really just built off the second tip I gave you about the nutritional guidelines, is make sure that you're eating all of the food groups and not trying to restrict yourself of some of them or take away different food groups. It really just, unless you have some sort of you have to eat a certain way based on medical needs, then taking away food groups or limiting yourself really just is not going to be sustainable. And when you're focused too much on tracking stuff, like tracking the macros, tracking the calories, they all have a time and a place. But when it's the only thing you're focused on, and maybe sometimes it can become a little bit of obsessive, then again, you're really getting away from this approach to make health a lifestyle, and instead you're trying to make food as this checkbox, whereas food, again, yes, it's meant for nourishment, it's meant to fuel us, but it's also meant to be enjoyed. And when you can find that balance for yourself, then you'll start to see that you don't necessarily have to track all the time, and you'll start to be more in touch with yourself and be able to recognize when you are full, when you have had enough. And that's just a way to make it sustainable, because you're not focused on the nitty-gritties of it all. Again, if you're just starting out and you're trying to make it more of a habit and really understand it, tracking isn't always a bad thing. But when it becomes this all-time thing 24/7, it can just understand your motives, because a lot of the times when I see people tracking that hardcore, their first motives aren't always about feeling good, having that freedom, not worrying about restriction. It becomes more about chasing a physical body. If you are tracking that obsessively, a lot of times it has to do with the motive of wanting to look a certain way. Ultimately, understand your motives and understand yourself and your own goals, and do that education, and that way you can feel confident in your own decisions. And when you see videos of the what I eat in a day, or what someone else is telling you how to eat, or you see people sharing their ways of doing things, you can just take it with a grain of salt and say, does this work for me? Is this something, the way that they're doing things, is this something I want to do more research and education on and learn more about? Or is this something that I know for a fact will not work for me long term, so I'm not even going to pursue it? When you can have that confidence and knowledge for yourself, this is where true sustainability comes from, because you no longer need the programs and the plans out there in order to be healthy. Healthy is your daily choices that you make every single day, like the smallest little habits that you have every single day. It's not about completely changing everything that you're doing. And I feel like the diet and fitness industry has really made people feel like they need to do those things, and it's just not true. Just start making small little tweaks in your day-to-day and in your choices every single day, and it'll just ripple. It'll have a ripple effect. So start there, and if you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer any other questions. If you're not already subscribed, please hit subscribe. I come out with videos every single Monday, sharing new tips, new mindset hacks, just anything valuable that I can share as a health coach for women out there who are looking to live a healthier lifestyle and just have more self-love and more body confidence. Also over on Instagram, TikTok, so I will be sure to leave my links in the description. And if you want to check out my free masterclass training that I have, it teaches you everything that I share in my online wellness program for women. So it's teaching you all about that framework. It's teaching you about how you can limit your self-sabotage and improve your discipline, just have an overall healthier lifestyle that you enjoy and have that body confidence that you're looking for. So I will attach the link there. So if you want to go check out my free training, you can. Thank you so much for watching.